Look at this bright yellow tennis ball snappy piece of goodness. The Kinvara has long been one of my Saucony mainstays, but over the years I've noted how much the shoe has strayed from its glorious origins. What's funny is it took us about 14 versions to get us pretty close back to the original. The upper of the Kinvara 14 is a super light and airy mesh that's ready for those hot summer miles and does a good job of locking the foot in. The midsole features a bit more power run for added comfort, but still falls nowhere close to as comfortable as the original. The result is a light and fast daily trainer that gets you lower to the ground and provides a fine mid-distance amount of fun. But with the Saucony Endorphin line right next door, is the $120 Kinvara even relevant anymore? Will it ever return to its original greatness? Hopefully we'll find out a little bit more in today's review. Let's dive in. Ginger Runner. What is up, everybody? Ethan Newberry, the Ginger Runner, here for another Ginger Runner review. We're gonna dive right on in today. We're talking about this little bad boy, bright green, yellow. It's the Saucony Kinvara 14. I have been reviewing this shoe since I started the channel. The original Kinvara was one of my very first reviews and probably still one of my favorite road shoes. So now in its 14th version, I'm always comparing everything to that experience. So much to talk about in today's review. A couple of things before we dive in. 1, register for Tiger Claw. Run tigerclaw.com. It's our in-person race, and it's super brutal. 2, join the GR crew. It's how you can support this channel, support the reviews, support the films, support everything that we're doing. We do a daily live show called Daily Brew. So many cool perks. Head on over to patreon.com/thegingerrunner. 3, check it out. The brand new movie called The High Route, which I did with the North Face, is over on the North Face's channel. Heads up, I'm going to be doing a longer director's cut of that will drop on this channel some point during the summer of 2023. We hope to do some in-person screenings and stuff like that, so stay tuned. But go watch The High Route as it is now on the North Face channel. And 4th and finally, I need to let you know that this shoe was provided for review by Saucony. I'm under no obligation to say anything positive or negative about this shoe. I am not financially compensated for anything that I say in this review. All opinions are my own. No one has to approve the review. You're the first to see it. Give yourself a pat on whatever you want to pat, and let's dive in. We're going to start with the basics, the things that I like and dislike about the Kinvara 14, starting as always with the things that I like. Weight. This shoe is incredibly lightweight. Like the original, every version since has just been, a fairly lightweight road shoe. This one feels extremely light. At 7.7 ounces, 218 grams, it is just like featherweight. And I really, really like that about the shoe. They did away with all the bits that add that little extra weight. Comfortable upper. This upper feels similar to some of the earlier versions of the Kinvara. I don't mind it. In fact, this one's really comfortable. It's kind of this dual layered mesh, very airy, very breathable. A detail that I really enjoyed was just the thinner tongue, the gusseted tongue. They kind of did away with that more padded and cushioned tongue. You don't really need that in this package because it is so lightweight. The laces have a bit more elasticity to them, so you're not going to get a lockdown that gives you any of that lace bite. Just the upper materials they used in general are good and keep this shoe, again, lightweight. Outsole. I appreciate now, many years into reviewing the Kinvara, what Saucony is doing with the outsole on the shoe, which is not a lot. It's a lot of exposed power run here. This is the same as the original version, and it made so many people anxious and angry, myself included. So they have a little lateral heel side rubber and a little medial side toe rubber. I don't mind that there's not rubber all over the outsole, and I don't mind that the outsole on the shoe is primarily EVA. I think it still holds up well. You'll get plenty of miles out of it before it really starts to detriment. That's it. I enjoy it. That being said, it's not all deliciously crafted lemon bars. Man, I love those things. Or GR beanies available in our TFTBA store right now. Link in the description. There are a couple of things that I dislike about the Kinvara 14. Let's get to those. Narrow. So, going from something like the Endorphin Speed, Endorphin Pro, and you put your foot into this, the Kinvara really shows you how narrow it feels, and it is. And it kind of sucks, because I remember it being a more narrow shoe, but now that I've seen what Saucony can do with a more forgiving forefoot, I kind of don't like how narrow this feels and gets, and especially through the toe area there. Maybe you like your toes to go to a point. I don't. And midsole comfort. So yeah, there's a little bit more power run underfoot, at least that's what they say. But I do not feel like this midsole is as forgiving or as cushioned as what I remember the first version or even second version to be. Especially when comparing it to the Endorphin line. Obviously different makeups, different shoe builds and stuff like that. It just isn't quite as comfortable. If you're looking for something super light, low to the ground, kind of responsive and flexible, that's what the Kinvara is now. I'm still reaching for the Endorphin. But that's kind of it for my dislikes. let's get a little bit more specific in the breakdown, where I talk about the build quality, comfort, fit, price, and looks, starting with build quality. I like the build quality here. I think there will be the concern that the outsole will wear down prematurely because it is exposed EVA. That has just been the case in every Kinvara version, and it has surprised me with each version how much longer it lasts than I think it's gonna last because of that exposed EVA. So build quality, I'm gonna give this some accolades. I think it's pretty damn well built. Comfort, I just don't think it's as comfortable as the original. I have a feeling that's sort of what they're going for. Not an uncomfortable shoe, but a shoe that is going to be lower, more responsive, more slipper-like, and just for a specific type of runner, whereas the Endorphin line is going to start to make up a lot of their comfort and long-distance runner space. Fit, it fits narrow, but it does fit well across the midfoot. You're going to get a good lockdown. That new tongue I do enjoy. There is a bit of fabric fold over, but it doesn't cause any sort of lace bite or any sort of discomfort across the top of the foot. It's just the toe box is pretty narrow, so you're going to end up running into some fitment issues there if that is something that concerns you. Price, $120. It's not a terrible price. I think that Kinvara has been $120 since as long as I reviewed it, maybe $110 to $130. So I can't knock them for that. That's just the price that you would come to expect from this shoe. And finally, looks. I honestly think I've seen this before, perhaps in another version of the Kinvara, multiple times over the years. So while it's not my favorite looking shoe, I do like the Endorphin series. I think they're doing some cool things with the design in there. I get it. It's sort of a homage to previous versions of the Kinvara, so many of you will find this very familiar, and perhaps that is what they are going for. So not my favorite look, but kind of nostalgic. Bringing us to our conclusion. So I have to say that the Kinvara 14 is probably the closest we've gotten to the Kinvara 1 and 2 in quite some time. That will make some of you happy. Those of you who are used to a more cushioned shoe or a more snappy or fast shoe, you might find yourself just wanting something a bit different. If you have needs for more volume in your forefoot or in your toe box, then you're probably not going to get what you want out of the Kinvara. What it does lack in comfort, it makes up for in material choice and overall build quality. I'd still find myself spending that extra money to put my feet into the Endorphin Speed over the Kinvara 14. Only because the Endorphin Speed I feel like is a fairly adaptable road shoe from Saucony that can work in long distances, marathon or plus, and shorter distances like a 10K or a half marathon. Whereas the Kinvara certainly is going to take some adaptation and just getting used to how low and how sort of flat that midsole feels. Bringing us to our final criteria, is the Kinvara 14 a buy, try, or a why? I'm actually going to find myself leaning more towards why with a bit of try in there. If you are a Kinvara enthusiast, if that's how you found this channel in the early days, this might be one of those shoes that, yeah, you want to get a little nostalgia, feel like what that shoe felt like in its origins, then the Kinvara 14 might get you pretty damn close to that. So that would be a try. But for anyone who's experienced the Endorphin Speed or Pro or the Nova Blast 3 or the Super Blast, then this is going to be one of those shoes that just doesn't feel right. So for me, that's a why. Just doesn't really change much from what we already know the Kinvara to be. That's it for the review. If you want more information or if you want to get a pair of the Kinvara 14s for yourself, there's a link in the description that will take you over to Running Warehouse. It's an affiliate link. It costs you nothing, but it does help support the channel. So consider using that for any of your running gear needs. They have pretty much everything. Shoes, nutrition, clothing, packs, all of it. And in the comments of this video, let me know what you think of the 14, if this is something that you are interested in getting, or if you've been a fan of the Kinvara in the past, maybe what are your thoughts on what the 14 brings or doesn't bring. Let me know. Comments of this video. That's it. Subscribe to the channel, follow across social media, join the GR crew, new North Face movie, register for Tag Club. There's just so much going on. I freaking love it. Get out there, train hard, race harder, and party the hardest. I know I am. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.